Alright, Mopar people, welcome back to the channel. I'm Justmoparjoe. You see here I've got a 318 head in front of me. This goes to Mr. Hayden's 318. If you want the casting number, it is a 402-7593. The internet says that is a 7784 318 head with 178 150 valves. Supposed to have 63 cc chambers. I did not measure these. I'm actually do some work to them today. I've got my porting equipment set up here. You can kind of see this is my most favorite. It's old. I believe it's old Ingersoll Rand. I'm sorry, Campbell Hossfield. Die grinder. Got plenty of oil. Got a little bit of lubricant for my bits. This is actually bar and chain oil. There was a guy last time I did a head series. He said the bar and chain seems to cut better. I don't know. I'm gonna try it. See what happens. These heads look like they've had a little bit of shrouding done around the valves. That could have been factory, or somebody could have touched them up a little bit. It's a pretty nice little set. I had a pair of these. His other heads that I had were cracked between the seats. I'll show you pictures of those. That's kind of no good. So for our situation, we might lose a little bit of compression because the 302 heads had that part kind of filled in some, but we're going to make up for that in flow. So remember, they say I think 1 point of compression is equal to 3% of your horsepower. So I don't even feel like doing math. Anyway, I'm going to open these up today. I will show you all my steps, and I may not do a lot of explaining because I kind of want to get these knocked out. I've got some good gaskets set aside here for them, and I'm going to get busy, so y'all hang out. So I wanted to show you this real quick. Here's what I was doing. I was blending that bowl to where there's just a very, very, very fine black line right there between the seat and the bowl. Some people take that all the way out and kind of cut into that. I'm scared to do that. I bring it right up to the edge, close as I can. And I started with the bowls because to me they are kind of the most difficult, most challenging. I've got now, I'm going to switch to my brand new Big Mama bit. It's very long, and I'm going to actually flip the head over in just a second. But I can get in and do the exhaust this way. So I'll do all my exhausts, flip over and do my intakes. I can cut my guides, that sort of stuff. So just wanted to give you a heads up. This is a bit I had a guy. He saw my other head porting videos and said you need to get a long bit and speed up. So I think this is maybe the 6-inch bit. and I'm gonna keep on trucking, so y'all hang out. Intake side, and before I can get it matched up, I got here an intake from Mr. Hayden. Looks like I got a special message. Justmoparjoe rules. Thanks, brother Hayden. Here's our intake for the 318 build. Let's see what we got. Performer 318/360, and I can see the ports. They got a little bit of casting flash in them, not bad. I can get this thing pressure washed off, cleaned up some, but I wanted to be sure I was not opening up the intake ports, the ports on the intake of the head larger than the intake that's going on it. So I'll grab my gaskets and match them up. This is the Felpro 90,009 gasket. I think this is just a standard. It was out of the kit. I like these because they have the little kind of locators on. So we set it up to here, there and there. See, we got some overhang. See, it's I can't even move that. That's great. I'm gonna go ahead and mark it. This is a very fine pointed Sharpie. Hardly nothing on the inside. Get us a little gasket match going here before I pour it on down into the inside. A lot of people open up these cooling ports too. I'm not going to in this instance. I think my time's better served adding flow. There we go. And if we bring that gasket right up here to our intake, same thing. You can see this intake's got a little bit smaller runners. So if I get her centered between there and there, mark her up. Fixing Hayden up. We'll get his dart swinger will be moving with this, hopefully. Yeah, right there. Now if he doesn't finish the car, I got to come back and get my heads off of it. So I know where Louisiana is. And a little bit right there. Okay. Yeah, so the intake is a little bit larger than the heads, which is nice. And this doesn't have to be done, but because I'm here and I got the tools and ability, I believe I'll go ahead and get these knocked out for him. I'll probably start on the head and bring it on in. This is kind of the push rod walls on each side of these. This one doesn't need much, that one needs more. I just like to kind of round that out into there. I'll cut us on out, I typically I don't take the whole mark away on either one of these. That's just my personal preference. You can hog them out big as you want to, but we're going to keep our velocity up and open up our flow some, so y'all hang out. Typically, they say leave the floor of the port alone and raise the roof. So that's what I'm doing. I went ahead and brought my sides all the way out. You can just see a very finite line. You might can see it. The lighting's kind of bad. I just left a little tiny knife edge of a line on both sides. Before I do this, I'm going to flip the head over, and that way I can see that casting. All I did down here was just knock off the casting real quick. And since I've opened this up, I'll get my long egg bit here in a minute and go deep as I can, knock off casting, and then open this sidewall up to where it's kind of more of a straight flow instead of having to go around the curve there. I'll be back with you. Alright, on to the exhaust. I got my Pro 1413. I seem to really like these gaskets. They're fairly cheap and they typically seal pretty good. This is an old one, but it'll work for what I'm doing just fine. You can kind of see the major difference here in the tiny port and the big port. So typically what I do with these, I'll make my mark. I got it hanging on studs both sides. Making my mark. There we go. There's one. But example here, when I cut this, I'm going to go to the inside of that big line there. On the insides, I'll go ahead and take that all the way off. That's not a big deal. I just, in my mind, I can wallow that all the way out to there, and it would open it up, but I don't know how thin it starts getting, so I like to kind of split the difference. I'll just make a nice transition here. Same thing with these. Like I can cut that way on down into there, but you're not actually, remember we're going to, that's the floor of the port now, just like we did intakes. So raise the roof, leave the floors alone. But it is very, very restrictive down here. So I'm going to open that up a little bit, and same thing on that side. So y'all hang out, I'll get my grind. went ahead and took my sandpaper roll, went all the way around this 3 or 4 times, knocked that hard edge off. Kind of hit some of the raised roughness there. And let's take a look down. They're not perfect, but they are pretty good, I'd say. I'm not a perfect porter, so I've never claimed to be. Let's see the intake side. I can be proud of that. I use every set of heads that I port as a practice for the next set of heads that I'll port. There goes the intake side. You see my gasket line, just knife edge left of it. So I know my ports are nice and straight. Knocked all the flash out of the bottom and went ahead and opened up the sides. Same here. Feel really good about it. I know they're going to flow a lot better and be good for Mr. Hayden. I appreciate y'all watching. Be sure and check out the engine build. John's going to be here soon and we'll get her thrown together. I'll catch y'all next time.